Hi, thank you for meeting me today. My name is Moshin Hussain. I'm a graduate from LSE, studied accounting and finance degree. Right. Most project accountants require a diverse set of skills, which cannot be gained through experience alone. Most project accountant roles require people to be able to think on their feet outside the box as problems or issues arise, to come up with innovative solutions as in there and then. And finally, a good project accountant will be able to bring people together, draw them together, regardless of whether they're finance professionals, IT professionals, project directors, managers, to bring them all together to be able to deliver on the overall project aim requirements. So moving on from that, I'd like to discuss these 3 points in more detail and how I've shown that I've gained the experience to deliver on these 3 different points. And as a result, I'm the ideal fit for the role that you're hiring for. The wide depth and breadth of experience that is required for a project accountant role, and the role that you have advertised in particular, I have, over the last 15 years as an accountant, I have worked in the private sector setting, public sector setting, and third sector setting. In the public sector, I work primarily in the NHS, where there is a heavy attention on detail and historical data, analyzing it, mining out the key and essential points, extrapolating it, coming to relevant conclusions. In the third sector, I've worked in, well, my current role at CEC, as well as Nova Enterprise. In these roles, there's a lot more regulation than private sector and the other sectors. So therefore, understanding of the legislation, financial legislation, how it applies to my role and the context is key. Finally, the private sector. Private sectors, organizations that I've worked in, Deutsche Bank, EMI, they're much more fast-paced, I've found in my experience, than the third sector and charity sector, third sector and the public sector. These are a mix of looking at the past, coming to various conclusions. How does that apply to today's setting, and how can we focus and budget for the future, given the present experience and historic experience? So these are 3 different sectors I've worked to know, gained quite a lot of experience in each of them, and I've benefited, and I believe I'll benefit your organization greatly as a result of my previous learnings. Moving on to the second point, being a good project accountant requires people to be able to think on their feet. Initially, of course, there's always a plan with key milestones, deliverables, and achievement of the final objective. And mirrored with that is achievement of financial goals. However, things happen in life, things happen in projects that no one could just have realized or beforehand. And so to be able to think on your feet, oh no, something's happened, the project isn't going according to plan. What are we going to do? I've come across this issue many times. The most recent one was in the Careers Leaders Bursaries process. In my current role at Careers and Enterprise Company, there was quite a complex process in order to recruit and train careers leaders in the various schools throughout the country. Because of the complexity, the organization decided to outsource this to an external third party. It was costing £60,000 a year. And when I started, I felt that that's just too much. I need to actually understand the process to then be able to determine whether or not that's value for money, good value for money, or whether or not we should bring it in-house. Upon understanding the complexity of the process itself, I decided that after discussion with my manager, that we should consider looking at organizations or online platforms, digital solutions to this process, how to manage the process, and also the operational and the financial aspects of this process. Eventually, we decided to go with the solution which cost £2,000 as opposed to the initial £60,000. Came across various hurdles, in particular digital data protection issues, which I then had quite important urgent meetings with the digital director, as well as external stakeholders to the business, to try and resolve these problems as soon as possible without compromising the delivery of the actual platform and the process itself. So I was very pleased with that. I think overall, this is a key requirement for any successful project accountant. I've shown it time and time again throughout my 15 years, and in this current role, I've displayed that as well. The third point, the third key requirement for a good project accountant, I mentioned, was being able to bring together finance and non-finance colleagues, senior, mid-senior, junior, all of them together to share the vision for a common goal, which in this case would be a project, delivery of a particular project. Whilst I was working at Action for Children, that was one of the primary purposes of my role. I was constantly had to bring in finance individuals, so financial planning analysis managers, and financial accountants, finance director even, with the different members of staff in IT and operations, to bring them together to be able to form a robust, solid, and accurate set of statements, quarterly reports, which people understood the value of, agreed with the format, understood the historic numbers, the present, and how we would build on that, how we would analyze the present and historic performance to build for a better and brighter future in the organization. These 3 points that I've mentioned briefly, so my wide breadth and depth of knowledge, the being able to think on my feet in terms of projects, especially when things go wrong or not as planned, and number 3, being able to bring together people from diverse and various backgrounds, finance and non-finance, together to join for a common cause to achieve a project outcome. These are 3 of the key points, I believe, to producing or being a successful project accountant. And I believe I would be of great value to your organization if you made the decision to hire me. So thank you for your time, and it was a pleasure.